Donald Trump tried to stick to the script this week, highlighting policy differences with Kamala Harris. But as usual, Trump ad-libbed his way into trouble, ignoring some close advisors and insulting some of the nation's war heroes.
A radical left person wants to put price controls all over the place, which will end up driving up your prices.
In two events this week, both supposedly on the economy, Donald Trump couldn't stay on message.
She wants to change a free enterprise type country into a communist type country. That's what she knows.
Drawing from his playbook of personal attacks, which even some of his most loyal supporters are now criticizing in public.
When Trump attacks Harris personally rather than on policy, Harris's support among swing voters rises.
The winning formula for President Trump is very plain to see. It's fewer insults, more insights, and that policy contrast.
But Trump isn't listening.
I think I'm entitled to personal attacks. I don't have a lot of respect for her. I don't have a lot of respect for her intelligence.
And Trump once again insulted a key group of voters, veterans.
It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor.
While talking about giving the Presidential Medal of Freedom to a billionaire supporter, Trump, who reportedly has called soldiers who die for their country suckers and losers, diminished the nation's top military honor.
Everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead.
Kristen, when it comes to the advice we heard from Peter Navarro and Kellyanne Conway, don't make it personal, make it about policy, will Trump ever listen to...
Sorry, I cut you off. You don't even have to finish. We have seen so many rounds of, oh my goodness, is this going to be the time that Kellyanne finally takes the phone from Trump so that he stops tweeting or what have you? The idea that he can be contained, I feel like we've just got to get over the idea that this will ever happen. He's like Bruce Banner turning into the Hulk. Like, you can keep the normalcy going for so long. And he did, frankly. He kind of held it together through the Republican primary, through the Republican convention. And it's about 30 minutes into that speech at the Republican convention that Bruce Banner starts turning into the Hulk. And that's who we've got. He is in full Hulk mode. Good luck to anybody trying to put him back in.
Well, and speaking of Hulk mode, Lulu, Trump has never been, I think we'd all agree, a disciplined campaigner. But it seems since Biden dropped out, Harris came in, and this huge lead has just disappeared. Trump seems like he's really been knocked off kilter.
He's been knocked off kilter. He is clearly upset. He keeps talking about the same things over and over again. He's obsessed with Biden. He brings up Biden every opportunity that he can. It's kind of touching in a way. It's like The Odd Couple. It's this kind of relationship that he misses him. There's some definite tenderness there, I think. But he doesn't know what to do. And I would also say, and in this I do think that the shakeup within the Trump campaign that we've recently seen with Corey Lewandowski coming back, I think we're going to see a push to let Trump be Trump, right? Which is the whole idea that this is someone who cannot be corralled. And he has expanded the Republican Party. He has brought more people into the party. He has fundamentally changed it. And he's done that by being himself. And so I think what people are going to come to is that this is the man who won in 2016, who has managed to keep the party in his grip all this time. Let him do what he does and let the chips fall where they may.
And I think what he does, though, is starting to get boring. Like, I'm looking at the meme that came out, the racist meme that he tweeted. And yes, there was some level of outrage, but I think there was also eye rolling. It's like we've seen this show before. You're appealing to the most base instincts of voters. And I think people are kind of over it. Today in her speech, Harris pointed out, she said, he gives this talk about the economy, but the actual policy plans were really light. And so she's reversing the critique that Trump gave of her, that she had no policy. And now she's saying, where are the details besides the rage, besides the fear mongering? And I think that, she's exposing a weakness.
I want to pick up on that, Kristen, because whatever you want to say about Trump, he really he's been entertaining in a kind of demented way. And as I watched his presser at Bedminster on Thursday, I thought, what a bore. what a bore this man has become.
Well, and part of his appeal all along, or part of his political power, has been that he understands the medium of television very well. And you saw flickers of that, right? He had all of the products there lined up at that Bedminster press conference. Like, he understands entertainment, he understands television, but he can't control himself. And that's where he's getting into trouble. And so I frankly want to put this on a poll. I want to know, if you ask voters, who would you rather spend 10 minutes watching, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? I actually think that if you had asked that question 6 months ago, Donald Trump wins that in a landslide. Doesn't mean people would vote for him, but he would win that question. I wonder what people would say today if I asked.
Because, God forbid,
well,
first of all, it wouldn't be 10
like,
minutes.
Okay, I've seen this show
It would be an
before.
hour of droning on and on.
I tell you, the Trump that they don't like, though, is the one that was reading in that huge binder that looked like my 6th grader giving a book report. I mean, that's not a Trump that is going to sell anything.
Well, in fact, I thought to myself, talk about political malpractice. Who gave this man that binder? Because, I mean, it just had page after page, and he kept reading. I want to go to this other utterly gratuitous slam at the Congressional Medal of Honor winners, Jim. Why would he keep insulting vets?
I suspect that every Trump campaign advisor is asking that same question. Why? Whose idea was it that you want to compare the Medal of Honor and the Medal of Freedom, and which one is better?
I mean, the Medal of Freedom, I mean, there are a lot of great people who get it, but also billionaire donors get it, like Miriam Adelson.
Look,
nice lady, not a hero.
Besides having the focus and attention span of an overcaffeinated ferret, Donald Trump also has this impulse to focus on the dumbest thing imaginable and then make that the focus of his attention. There is an easy, well, I don't say easy, there is a soup to nuts case to be made against Kamala Harris. If nothing else, pointing out, look at who she was in her 2019 presidential campaign. Look at who she is now. Look at all of these positions she's abandoned. Who is the real Kamala Harris? Kamala Chameleon, if you know, you can tell the Trump nickname is, there's stuff to work with there. But he's a 78-year-old man. I don't know if he can remember any of this stuff anymore. That's why he needs the giant, construction paper binder and things to flip through, and they need to make it very simple, very large font, all that kind of stuff. Like,
wow.
Maybe we should not have geriatric presidential candidates. Boy, wouldn't that be a delightful
Well,
change.
a lot of people said that the key to this election was who was going to switch from the 78 to 81-year-old person. The Democrats did, and they may reap the benefits of that. While he was randomly insulting key voting blocs, Trump also went after union members who go on strike. Here he is praising Elon Musk for how Elon handles workers, and then doubling down on it.
They go on strike and you say, that's okay, you're all gone. You're all gone.
Are you really comfortable with companies threatening to fire workers who go on strike?
Well, no, I want companies to get workers that are going to love them and work for a wage that lets the company make a profit so they can go and expand.
Kristen, has Trump jeopardized his support among union workers?
Depends on if that support is rooted in an economic populism or if it's rooted in a cultural connection. And I think there's a lot of the latter going on in Donald Trump's appeal to union workers across the country. That it's not just that they view Donald Trump as, say, a break from the Mitt Romney-style economics of the Republican Party of a decade ago, but that he has something in touch with the working class in terms of cultural appeal. And that's still there regardless of comments like that.
Take a look at the CNN exit poll from 2020. As you can see there, among members of union households, 56% supported Biden, but 40% backed Trump, which is a good number for Republicans. Lulu, after Trump's remarks about union workers, strikers, to Elon Musk, the head of the United Auto Workers called him a scab.
This isn't new, though. I mean, unfortunately, I think that Donald Trump, instead of making statements that will, actually expand the kinds of people who would want to vote for him, he does the opposite. But it is cultural. He does appeal to certain values. And so I think that, I don't know that it's going to make a huge inroad.
I think wherever you go, there you are, right? And he continues to show who he really is, even though he tries to portray himself as an ally of certain groups, from veterans to auto workers. They're seeing who he is.
I think Maya Angelou said something sort of like that, right?
If they show you who you are, believe them the first time. That was her, famous quote, which also applies to this situation. Yeah.